One thing you might need to do to the clips that you've created for your science film is go in afterwards and color correct them to make sure the color is correct throughout all of them. So let's have a look at how we do that in iMovie. So I've got this clip lined up here, which is a clip I shot in the Alps early in the morning, and I just want to make sure the color is correct and the same as how I saw it on the day. And that's something you're always thinking about for these color correction tools is, does it look like I saw it on the day? So I'm going to drag this down and into our timeline. You can see that I caught Tomorrow off guard in this and told her to look up into the distance, look all stoic and heroic. So if I just take part of this and say, I want to adjust this to make it look like it did on the day, I want to color correct it. Well, we can do that in a few ways. First off, we'll come up to this one and we'll try and do it manually. This is color correction. It's just a little easel, paintboard here. So we can do that by adjusting the highlights, the whites, I suppose, up there, and then the darks, the shadows, and the dark areas, the blacks, and then we've got these in the middle too. And if you don't know what they are, you can hover over it and it'll come up with what that is. So it says adjust brightness to make clip lighter or darker, and one thing to do with these is, it's always good, is just move them around. Like, none of it is destructive, so you can always just reset it afterwards. There's a button over here that resets. So have a play, see what it looks like. You can adjust this like that, make those darks a little bit darker, pull these up slightly to make the highlights a bit brighter. And then this one is for saturation, so how much the colors pop within this. I'm gonna move those up slightly too. And then this one is white balance, so how blue or orange looks, how kind of early morning, kind of like golden hour and orange it looks, to how much like daylight it looks with the blues. This is a bit too blue, so if I drag this up slightly, it'll look a bit more natural. You can see the rocks now start to look a bit more natural as well. So we can do all that absolutely manually. But in iMovie, you don't need to. So I'm going to reset those. I'm going to head over to this one, which is going to be our color balance. And this one, then we can just do auto stuff. So literally, I can hit auto. It does an amazing job, like almost all of the time. There's going to be a few times where it catches itself out, but auto is really good. Another thing you can do is match color to a different time of day, different camera. So if I hit match color here, if I go down to this one, I can actually just match the same kind of settings that this one will have, or the same kind of look that it'll have. So I click on it, and now we've got, I'll hit tick, and now it looks like the same as this one, which is insane to me. Like, iMovie has no business being that good. I'm going to hit reset. I can do it with white balance. One good thing to do if you're presenting lots to the camera is hold up a piece of white card or white paper, and then you can hit this white balance. It'll give you a little picker. She's got a white helmet on, so I can use that white helmet and say, this is white, so camera, adjust yourself for everything else. And it does, again, an amazing job. I'll hit cross because I don't want to implement that. And the last one, skin tone balance. Whenever you are color correcting and there's a person in the camera, you're always looking at their skin tone. You want to get that right before you get anything else right. So this is really good to pick out that skin tone. And again, it just does another amazing job. Once you've done that, what you can do then is you can go into these, which are like clip filters. And once you've color corrected, then you can add a grade to it, or you can make it a stylistic choice. But you always want to correct all the colors first for all your clips before you add in any kind of stylistic choices. So if I click on this, I can have anything from like a blockbuster movie style to a vintage style, romantic style, bleach bypass. There's a load of ones in there, but again, that can get too much. So I tend not to use those. I might kind of like make it look a certain way after I've color corrected, but manually, because it can get a bit too much. But it's always worth thinking about the color and how it looks in the camera. And it's a bit, if you're using different cameras, it can be hard to get those right. So those auto parts of iMovie are really good to make them match the styles and everything. But it's always worth trying to get it right on the day to begin with. So always thinking about, if you've got a DSLR, the white balance on your camera, and always thinking about the exposure to try and get as much right in camera as you can before you go into this. Because these are great. iMovie's like auto functions are fantastic, but it's difficult to bring it back if you didn't get it right in camera to begin with. So it's great in a pinch, but always think about, how do I get it right in camera first? But if you don't, that's how you color correct in iMovie.